Welcome back to our deep dive into Bible stories, where we explore the rich tapestry of biblical narratives and uncover the extraordinary lives of figures often left in the shadows. Today, we are delving into the intriguing story of Zipporah, the first wife of Moses. Though her name doesn't frequently appear in sermons or Sunday school lessons, Zipporah played a vital role in Moses' journey and in the unfolding of God's divine plan. Her tale is filled with bravery, cultural interplay, and profound spiritual insights. Have you ever pondered why Moses, chosen by God to lead the Israelites, suddenly faced mortal peril from God? Or why it was Zipporah who had to intervene in such a mysterious manner? Join us as we unravel the enigma of Zipporah, a woman whose actions significantly influenced the destiny of God's people. We will examine her background, her marriage to Moses, and the profound lessons her life offers. Before we embark on this journey, please subscribe to our channel to become part of our growing community. If this story resonates with you, don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up, share your insights in the comments, and spread this story among your church, family, and friends. Together, let's continue to uncover the timeless wisdom of the Bible. Let's delve into why Moses, the illustrious leader of Israel, found himself in grave danger from God and why his wife had to take unprecedented action. Zipporah's life is shrouded in mystery, from her origins and marriage to Moses to the unique challenges she faced as the spouse of one of history's most pivotal figures. In this exploration, we will unpack her story, considering her cultural background, her crucial role in Moses' mission, and the controversial events that have made her a figure of immense interest. We'll explore the scriptures that highlight her strength, courage, and the extraordinary position she held in God's unfolding plan. Stay tuned to the end. This is a story you won't want to miss. Zipporah first steps into the biblical narrative during a critical juncture in Moses' life, as recorded in the book of Exodus. After fleeing from Egypt to escape Pharaoh's wrath, Moses finds refuge in Midian. There he encounters the 7 daughters of Jethro, the priest of Midian, also known as Ruel. The Midianites were descendants of Abraham through his wife Keturah, as detailed in Genesis 25 verses 1-2, and were a nomadic people from what is now northwest Arabia. Zipporah's introduction is dramatic, occurring at a well, a setting often associated with significant biblical meetings such as those of Rebekah and Rachel. In ancient times, wells were not only essential for drawing water, but also served as focal points for social and communal interactions. In Exodus 2 verses 16-21, we witness Moses springing into action as he defends Jethro's daughters from harassing shepherds, showcasing his inherent sense of justice and foreshadowing his future role as the deliverer of Israel. This act of kindness lays the groundwork for Moses' relationship with Zipporah. When the daughters return home sooner than expected, their father, Jethro, eagerly inquires about the day's events. Learning of Moses' heroics, Jethro invites him to stay, and in time, Zipporah becomes Moses' wife. Her name, which means bird in Hebrew, signifies more than just a marital union. It represents Moses' complete assimilation into Midianite society. By marrying Zipporah, Moses not only gains a partner, but also secures social standing and protection in this foreign land. In Exodus 3 verse 1, we find Moses tending Jethro's flock, illustrating his deep integration into their family, a crucial step before his eventual return to Egypt to lead his people. Zipporah's heritage is rooted in the ancient history of the Midianites, who, while related to the Israelites, maintained a distinct identity. This background adds depth to her role in Moses' life and mission. If you are captivated by Zipporah's story and wish to explore her impact and legacy further, stay with us for a comprehensive exploration. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with those eager to uncover more biblical insights. The Midianites, descendants of one of Abraham's 6 sons with Keturah, formed distinct tribes with unique cultures and religious customs. Though they were related to the Israelites, they were often viewed as outsiders in the biblical narrative. Known for their nomadic lifestyle, the Midianites frequently traversed the arid regions of the Arabian Peninsula, shaping their spiritual and cultural practices. As Jethro's daughter, Zipporah would have been well versed in the religious traditions of her people. Exodus 18 verse 1 mentions Jethro's awareness of all God had done for Moses and Israel, highlighting his role as a priest and suggesting structured religious practices among the Midianites, possibly including sacrifices and rituals. While differing from Israelite worship, the Bible portrays Jethro as a wise, God-fearing man, indicating a reverence for the divine even if their understanding varied from Israel's monotheism. Zipporah's Midianite heritage undoubtedly influenced her worldview and spiritual beliefs. The Midianites, likely acknowledging the God of Abraham, may have incorporated other deities into their worship, a common practice in the ancient Near East. This distinct cultural identity set her apart from the Israelites, who adhered to the covenant established with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and later the laws given through Moses. Moses, raised in Egypt and called by God to lead the Israelites, possessed a unique understanding of the covenant with Israel. In contrast, Zipporah brought her Midianite cultural background into their marriage, adding complexity and enrichment to their relationship. Exodus 18 verse 12 describes a significant cultural and spiritual exchange when Jethro offers sacrifices to God and shares a meal with Aaron and the elders of Israel. This event reflects a moment of unity and mutual respect between two cultures despite their differences, illustrating how Zipporah's family influenced Moses and the Israelites through shared religious rituals. The religious practices of the Midianites and Israelites could have led to potential conflicts. The Israelites, being strictly monotheistic, worshipped Yahweh alone, while the Midianites may have practiced a more syncretic form of worship, incorporating multiple deities. This contrast required Moses and Zipporah to find a balance, especially as Moses was being shaped by God to lead the Israelites according to divine laws. Numbers 25:1-3 illustrates the broader issue of Israelite men being led into idolatry by foreign women, as the men engaged in sexual immorality with Moabite women, participating in sacrifices to their gods. Although this passage specifically addresses the Moabites, it underscores the challenges posed by relationships between Israelites and foreign women, as such unions could lead to cultural and religious conflicts. Unlike others, Zipporah did not lead Moses astray. She maintained her place in his life without interfering with his mission or covenant with God, one of the most enigmatic and debated moments involving Zipporah occurs in Exodus 4, where she plays a pivotal role in an event that has sparked much discussion among scholars. This brief yet intense account has perplexed theologians for generations due to its mysterious nature and profound theological implications. Exodus 4 verses 24-26 recounts a perplexing situation where God, who had just called Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, suddenly sought to kill him. The reason for God's anger is not explicitly stated, but it is widely believed that Moses had neglected to circumcise his son, a crucial symbol of the covenant between God and his people, as described in Genesis 17 verses 10-14. The command for circumcision in Genesis 17 verses 10-11 was a fundamental aspect of the covenant with the Israelites, marking their unique identity. Every male was required to be circumcised as a sign of this covenant, passed down from Abraham. By failing to circumcise his son, Moses overlooked a fundamental tenet of his faith and the covenant binding his people to God. This oversight was particularly grave given Moses' role as the chosen leader tasked with delivering the Israelites from Egypt. In this moment of divine wrath, Zipporah swiftly intervened. She took a flint knife, a tool often associated with purity and ritual in ancient cultures, and performed the circumcision herself. This act demonstrates Zipporah's awareness of the situation's gravity and the covenant's significance, perhaps even more acutely than Moses did at that moment. The phrase, "Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me," has been widely debated. It could express a mix of emotions such as anger, relief, or a deeper understanding of the covenant's significance, symbolized by the shedding of blood. Some scholars interpret Zipporah's statement as reflecting the painful reality and demands of the covenant, binding both her husband and son to God's people. This notion is echoed in Joshua 5 verses 2-3, where God commands Joshua to use flint knives to circumcise the Israelites, underscoring the ongoing importance of this ritual for maintaining covenantal purity. Zipporah's use of a flint knife connects her actions to this broader biblical theme of circumcision as a sign of consecration and obedience to God. This episode also sheds light on the dynamics within Moses and Zipporah's marriage. As a Midianite, Zipporah was not born into the covenant community of Israel, yet her actions reveal a profound understanding of its requirements. Her intervention highlights the tension between their different cultural backgrounds and the strength of their relationship. It also suggests that Zipporah may have possessed a deep spiritual awareness, recognizing the covenant's seriousness at a moment when Moses, focused on his mission, may have overlooked it. Deuteronomy 10 verse 16, which calls for the circumcision of the heart, points to a metaphorical understanding of the physical act as a symbol of a deeper spiritual commitment to God. Zipporah's swift and decisive action in physically circumcising her son reflects her internal grasp of what it means to be truly bound to God's covenant. Her understanding transcends mere ritual, embodying a profound spiritual dedication. This episode is a turning point in the story of Moses and Zipporah. Not only does it save Moses' life, but it also reaffirms the importance of the covenant between God and his people. Zipporah emerges as a figure of strength and spiritual insight, capable of navigating the complex cultural and religious challenges in her marriage to Moses. This brief episode provides rich material for reflecting on themes of covenant obedience and the role of women in the unfolding narrative of God's people. Later in the story, as Moses prepares to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, the Bible briefly mentions Zipporah and her children returning to Midian. This occurs in Exodus 18, where Jethro, Zipporah's father, brings her and their sons back to Moses. Exodus 18 verses 2 to 3 states, "After Moses had sent away his wife Zipporah, his father-in-law Jethro received her and her 2 sons. One son was named Gershom, for Moses said, 'I have become a foreigner in a foreign land.' And the other was named Eleazar, for he said, 'My father's God was my helper. He saved me from the sword of Pharaoh.'" This passage implies that at some point before the Exodus, Moses sent Zipporah and their children back to Midian. While the reasons are not explicitly stated, several possibilities exist. One likely reason is safety. Moses' mission to confront Pharaoh and demand the release of the Israelites was fraught with danger. As he prepared to face one of the ancient world's most powerful rulers, he may have wanted to ensure his family's security. Exodus 4 verse 19 states, "Now the Lord had said to Moses in Midian, 'Go back to Egypt, for all those who wanted to kill you are dead.'" Despite the immediate threat to Moses being lifted, the dangers in Egypt remained significant, and sending his family to Midian would allow Moses to focus on his mission. Zipporah's return to Midian may also reflect the cultural challenges she faced as a Midianite living among the Israelites. Numbers 12:1 mentions potential tension within the Israelite community, stating, "Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife." While this reference may or may not be about Zipporah, it highlights the possibility of cultural prejudice or discomfort she might have experienced, which could have contributed to her temporary return to her father's house. Additionally, the decision to send Zipporah and their children back may also point to the strain Moses' mission placed on his family. As the leader of the Israelites, Moses bore immense responsibilities, likely limiting his time and attention for his family. Sending them back to Midian may have been a way to manage this strain and prioritize his mission. Later in Exodus 18, Jethro brings Zipporah and the children back to Moses after the Israelites have safely left Egypt. Their reunion is marked by respect and affection, as described in Exodus 18 verses 5 to 7. The return of Zipporah and their son symbolizes not only the restoration of Moses' family, but also a moment of personal and spiritual reconnection following God's deliverance of Israel. After a period of separation, the reunion of Moses' family emphasizes the importance of family and kinship in the larger story of God's covenant with his people. Now, let's delve into another significant event involving Miriam and Aaron, Moses' siblings. This incident recorded in the book of Numbers, sheds light on the tensions within Moses' family and reveals deeper cultural and racial dynamics. Numbers 12:1 states, Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife, for he had married a Cushite. Though brief, this verse carries significant implications. The term Cushite generally refers to a person from the region of Cush, corresponding to modern-day Sudan or Ethiopia, suggesting African ancestry. Scholars debate whether this Cushite wife refers to Zipporah or another woman Moses may have married. If referring to Zipporah, her foreign background and appearance may have been a point of contention, even among Moses' family. The mention of Moses' Cushite wife highlights the potential cultural and racial tensions surrounding her acceptance among the Israelites. Already perceived as an outsider due to her Midianite origins, identifying her as a Cushite could further emphasize her foreignness in the eyes of Miriam and Aaron. Deuteronomy 7 verses 3-4 warns against intermarriage with foreign nations, stating, "Do not intermarry with them. Do not give your daughters to their sons or take their daughters for your sons, for they will turn your children away from following me to serve other gods." Miriam's leprosy can be seen as symbolic punishment, perhaps representing the consequences of marginalizing or excluding someone based on cultural or racial differences. Miriam's attempt to marginalize Moses' wife due to her foreign background is met with irony when she is struck with leprosy, turning her skin white as snow. This affliction could be interpreted as a divine rebuke for criticizing a woman likely of darker complexion. Miriam's leprosy, followed by Aaron's plea for her healing, marks a moment of repentance and reconciliation. In an act of humility and compassion, Moses prays for his sister's healing, as recorded in Numbers 12:13-15. Moses cried out, "Please, God, heal her." But the Lord responded, "If her father had spit in her face, would she not be in disgrace for 7 days? Confine her outside the camp for 7 days. After that, she may return." So Miriam was confined outside the camp for 7 days, and the people did not move on until she was brought back. Miriam's temporary exile serves as both punishment and a period for reflection, highlighting the seriousness of her sins of jealousy, racism, and rebellion against God's chosen leader. After 7 days, Miriam is welcomed back into the community, but the incident leaves a lasting lesson about the consequences of allowing cultural and racial biases to damage relationships within God's people. This episode with Miriam and Aaron also sheds light on the tensions surrounding Moses' marriage. Whether the reference to the Cushite wife points to Zipporah or another woman, the conflict underscores the cultural and racial issues that may have influenced her acceptance within the Israelite community. It also highlights the complex family dynamics Moses navigated, balancing leadership with personal struggles related to race, culture, and jealousy. Ultimately, this story serves as a powerful reminder of the need for humility, unity, and God's impartial judgment within the faith community. In conclusion, Zipporah's story, although brief in the Bible, holds great significance. As Moses' first wife, she played a pivotal role in his life, from their meeting in Midian to the crucial moment when she saved his life. Her story reflects the challenges of navigating cultural and spiritual differences and the strength required to overcome them. While the Bible doesn't provide many details about her, the glimpses we do get paint her as a courageous, capable woman who stood by one of the Bible's greatest leaders. Thank you for joining us in exploring Zipporah's life. If you found this story meaningful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who may also appreciate its insights. Stay tuned for more biblical explorations and wisdom.